Goes like that.
Yeah.
Hey Bob. Hey Bob.
That's good. Hey, we're now fine. We're now good. Hey Bob. All right. So you want me to lead off? I got a question for you today, man.
Woohoo! Oh, you're feeling good. It seems like okay.
I'm
I got a
feeling
question for you. Damn it!
I'm feeling it.
All right, I got my.
Let me make sure that I've got it here. I'm going to read a quote to you that I actually put on Facebook this morning, and so no cheating. You can't go look at it right now.
No, I'm not gonna. I won't do it.
Thank you.
I'm kind of just fresh out of bed. Grabbed a quick shower. Coffee. I'm here, baby. I'm raw.
Oh, God, that's scary. What have I got? I got something for you today, man. I got a quote. And I think we've talked about this guy. I know we've talked about this guy, James Clear, who recently published Atomic Habits, which is somewhere on the stack of books I've given you, hopefully working its way up to the top.
Yes. It's one of the books I haven't read yet.
Yes.
let's just be honest here, right?
Well, maybe in 2020 we'll finally get to it.
We'll get to it.
So he's got a quote.
Familiar.
I'm sorry?
I am familiar, though.
Yeah. So I don't think this quote was from his book, but I saw it on Twitter yesterday. But it meant something to me tennis-wise in terms of, the audience that we're trying to connect with, which are. Oh, and by the way, we do have a name. We have a title for this thing that we're doing. We do. And it's taken us a few episodes to get there. But I think this weekend I finally got frustrated that we didn't have a name. I wanted to start building the website. I wanted to start doing the iTunes podcast name. I wanted to start doing the YouTube thing. And I kept going, Jeff, come on, man. Today's the day. You got to give me something. So we went through a few things that didn't feel right. And
danced around it a little bit,
Yeah. And so anyway, we've come up with the name of this thing is called Gold Ball Hunting.
Yeah.
A tennis show tennis show with, maybe I haven't come up with the right preposition yet. A tennis show with or a tennis show by Brent and Jeff.
I think it's with us because we want the audience to join us, right?
So it's not by like we're shoving it at them. We want
them.
Yeah. This is all right. This is.
I mean, I'm. You're in your dining room at the head of the table there. I'm sitting here in my little cabin studio here with my cup of Joe, and I got the beautiful Napa Valley. So we want people to get comfortable and hang out.
Okay. All right.
So
it's with.
It's with us, yeah.
Okay, it's with us. All right, very, very nice. And so there's really kind of three. I mean, we should talk about, before I ask you the quote today, before I talk about the quote, we should probably say who this is for, what gold ball hunting means. I'm sure there are lots of listeners who don't really understand the reference to gold ball. I'm going to let you take that one. Describe in senior tennis what a gold ball is and why someone would be hunting a gold ball.
Right. Well, let's see. Let's reverse engineer it. So first, having a little trouble with this one earbud, so excuse me. Doesn't want to stay in. Anyway, first, let's reverse engineer this. If we look at the Grand Slams, there's a grass, a clay, a hard court, and actually 2 hard courts now. But there's 4 majors on the tour, on the world tour. So for senior tennis in the U.S., there's also 4 majors in every age category. And every age category is broken down into 5-year increments. So the 50s, the 55s, the 60s, 65s, and so on. And so those 4 majors are called Category 1 Senior Championships. There's only 4 in your age division.
And they are?
And they are a hard court,
outdoor,
a clay court, outdoor clay, an indoor hard court, and a grass.
Right.
And so if you are so, let's say if the Jupiter aligns and everything goes right for you and you actually win one of these events.
It's a USTA, United States Tennis Association.
Right. It's
event.
Yes. It's USTA event. You actually win a gold ball. And that gold ball is, I don't know, it's about that big. And it's And it's in a beautiful little window box with frosted glass on the front that says USTA and the event that it is and all that. And so just major amounts of bragging rights come with it. But more than that, it's a very elusive title to come by. There are so many things, just like in pro tennis. There really is no difference. Things have to line up right. You have to keep showing up at all these events. Two, you want to be in the best physical condition you can be in. And three, the week has to kind of move in a fashion that things just seem to fall into place, and that doesn't mean that every match is smooth and perfect and easy. But it's an endeavor in there, which is remarkable when you look at some of these guys that have 120 plus gold balls or even more than that, and or none. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't have a gold ball. I've got a bronze and I've got a silver. So again, I've been in the hunt, and I've come really close, but I haven't actually gotten over the hump there on it. Where I know you've got 9, I think.
Two in singles, yeah, 2 in singles, 2 in men's doubles. Then mine, I have won 5 national husband-wife.
Yeah, so they're, as you know, they're not easy to come by, but they're an unbelievable challenge. It challenges you in so many different areas of your life: the dedication, the discipline, finding help to get you there. What's your plan? And you have just all sorts of micro and macro challenges along the way to actually succeed in getting one. So that in a nutshell, I think is
that's good. Well, and there's really sort of 3. We've talked about this. There's kind of 3 groups of players that we're trying to help. Number one, gold ball hunting it is for those players who are playing national events. We've got a couple players in mind that we're helping to try to get them initially to get past that second round. They can win a round, right, maybe 2 rounds. So we got to help them consistently get into that round of 16, maybe even get in the quarterfinals where, you see your name up in the draw. It's the last 8 guys. That's a pretty big deal.
So there's something about that too, that as you know, psychologically, there is every movement, every time you kind of you get past the tipping point and it's an extra round farther than you've ever gone. Now it's the quarterfinals, because there's a status to that, Right. And even though, gosh darn it, this is really starting to bug me. I may have to switch headphones here. Okay. My right ear is leaking.
God. A phrase I've never heard before.
Anyway, so it is. It's really, the little incremental steps are huge in terms of self-confidence and feeling like, first, that you're actually in the hunt, and that it's actually something that you realize is within reach.
And that is the first group of guys and gals that we're trying to help. I mean, those players who are actually entering national events. The second group are league players who maybe they play some national events, or maybe they don't, but they've got a couple of things they really want to do. Number one, there might be a league player who really wants to get to that next rating label, whatever the NTRP rating label is, or whatever the rating system they're in. If it's a 3.5, you know what? I really want to become a 4.0. Well, that's a form of gold ball hunting, right? That's trying to get into that next group, or maybe you're content with staying with whatever rating label you've currently got, but you want to really increase your winning percentage. If your winning percentage is not over 50%, that you want to, you're sort of in the bottom third of that rating label group. Right. You really want to start getting up to where you're winning a majority of your matches. And then I think the third group are those guys and gals who aren't playing tournaments, aren't playing leagues, but they have a regularly scheduled either singles or doubles matches with their buds. And for the guys, they just want to go out there every Wednesday night and be the man week in and week out in their group. And, it could be that they're that they're just not winning as many sets as they want in that thing, and they really want to.
Right.
They really want to start being able to do that. So, guys, that's kind of where Jeff and I are at right now. We've come up with this name. We're going to stick to it. We've sort of defined what that means. We've defined what the three groups of players are, and it's a pretty broad group. But really, it sort of falls into: are you truly a competitive tennis player? And look, I know that there are a lot of players out there. I've got buddies at the Berkeley Tennis Club who all they really want to do is they don't really play competitively in terms of have a regularly scheduled match. They don't play leagues. They don't play tournaments. They love to go out and just kind of rhythm hit, get some exercise. Totally cool. Totally cool.
Totally cool.
And if you're listening to this and that's you, maybe this is more entertainment than it is instructive.
I don't know. I think even in that realm, I mean, even those players, I think there's another category there too, and that's the social player. Likes to come out on Saturday once or twice a month, maybe, or 3 or 4 times, and maybe the group they play in is always kind of a evolving group, but it's really social. It's fun. They're competitive. There's some trash talking going on, but it's a social couple hours.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, I love social tennis. I mean, I love being in the mix and throwing in the haymaker or the crowd pleaser and having fun with that stuff in that environment, because it's a gas to get people excited and keep energy moving on the court is a lot of fun. And you and I have done some of that in exhibition play, and I consider exhibition play there is a form of social tennis, because you're trying to engage the crowd. You want to get them, you want to pull them in to participate with you. And I mean, I just think it's a gas. I love doing it. Whether I'm the joke, the butt of the joke, or I get to deliver the punchline.
Right.
I'll take either one. I just love being in it.
Well, you are definitely an entertainer there, JJ, for sure. Which is all good.
I'm not sure how to take that. Right? How do I take that? Is that sideways? A little sideways line there?
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's a sign of a good tennis pro, good tennis director, good head pro. You got to be able to entertain and have some fun. So listen, man, I got a question for you today, and this is going to, I think, kind of piggyback on what we just talked about in terms of competitive players and helping them do whatever it is they want to do. And this is a James Clear quote. I just had it up there, and now hold on, let me get it back up here. All right, here we go. Quote: "New goals don't deliver new results. New lifestyles do. And a lifestyle is not an outcome, it's a process. For this reason, all of your energy should be into building better rituals, not chasing better results." So,
Bang.
So my first thing was bingo. And not only for if you're trying to change your eating habits, or if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to get fit, or whatever but as a tennis player, if you're a competitive player and you want to get better, I really kind of feel like our goals sometime just is not the way to kind of point. It's not is not the path to be on. I know we talked about this before, just the two of us by ourselves and some of the recordings, but what does that bring up for you? What does that quote bring up for you, Jeff?
Well, let's go back to the title of the show now, right? Gold ball hunting. So that's a direction. It gives you there's a little bit of a destination there. That's what a goal is. There is a destination, but it's the process in getting there that actually is where the improvement happens. The improvement doesn't happen after you get the gold ball. The improvement happens as a process to achieve that. So as James Clear just said, it is what things do I have to do right now that alter my path, that seem to be a little bit more directed toward what I'm saying is my goal, right? So there's a great Jim Lohr, the sports psychologist, right? He does a great exercise, and I've done this with some of my students, where you take a piece of paper and you draw a circle on it, and you write out the 5 things that you don't like about your game right now. And then you draw another circle and you write 5 just short little, could be one word, could be, anything, 5 things that you want your game to be. And in general, the 2 circles don't necessarily have the same things written on them, consistent or inconsistent. I want to be consistent. That might be one that transfers over. But the interesting thing is when you look at these 2 circles, you have this list of things you don't want to be and these things you'd like to be. And you have to kind of get your head wrapped around it and say, you know what? There's nothing in the first circle that will get me to the second circle. I can't become consistent by being inconsistent. So there is no overlap. The circles don't intersect any place whatsoever. So literally, in order to achieve the second circle, what's the new plan? What's the new plan, and how am I going to become consistent? How am I going to extract more joy out of being on the court? How am I going to extract being, I wish I was more fit. The list is, it's a personal, kind of list that you write down. But I found it to be really helpful with my students. That kind of gives them a light bulb moment to say, oh, wow, wait a second. I keep banging my head against the wall here, trying to be, and I'm just going to use consistency as the moniker here. I keep banging my head against the wall, trying to be consistent, but the way I'm doing it, I've been doing it this way now for 2 years, and I still haven't, gotten over the hurdle. Maybe that plan, we've proven that plan isn't the pathway. So which is why the 2 circles don't connect at all. So you have to change, your lifestyle. What does that look like? Could be diet, could be your fitness regimen, and probably it will be. I mean, knowing what you do, knowing what I do to prep and get ready for these events, you can't leave any stone unturned. So, as he says, it is a lifestyle adjustment. The goal just simply presents the idea of what has to change.
And I think the other thing in there that I like, which was the last part of it, is focusing on results, and which is kind of the end goal, right? So the end goal is that result that we want, and yet what happens too often is we keep looking at this end goal, we keep looking at the result, and it might once in a while sort of help you stay on the path, but the path to get there is a lifestyle. It is not, right. As you said, with the first circle, well, all they're doing is living in this first circle, which is all about not being inconsistent, as opposed to, wait a minute, I got to get in this other path, which means that I'm living today. I've got this lifestyle. I'm creating these rituals. I'm creating this process that is being consistent. So,
right.
Are you consistently doing the things
right.
that would make you consistent?
Right. And that's, are you like it, when you go to these events, do you take the time to actually go watch the guys who are winning these events? Do you watch them, not just on the court, but how do they conduct themselves off the court? And like, wow, I noticed that guy, he gets here X amount of time beforehand. He never misses. He always does this routine stretch. He doesn't seem to, have a lot of chatter going on pre-match. Anyway, it's like, study the guys who are winning. Yeah. And what are they doing? That lesson I learned primarily from, legendary NorCal coach Rich Anderson. I was lucky enough to play for Rich at Kenyatta Junior College back in 1980. And he really taught the team. He taught us how to become students of the game. Watch the guys who are winning. Don't just oh, that guy won again. What is he doing? What are his habits? How does he play? Why is he using that racket? I mean, yeah. Really, like, just getting down to the nitty gritty. Well, this is bringing up a story, and I don't want to forget it. So I was playing the 50 hard courts one year in Santa Barbara, and Brian Cheney, who at the time was, he was the top dog, and he had Cheney's been. What am I saying? Cheney's been the top dog. Seems like year in and year out. Right.
Anyway, so we're sitting there inside the clubhouse. It's a lull after the singles has been played, and it's kind of lunchtime, and we're all waiting. We all got a couple hours before the double starts, and we're sitting around. And I didn't know Brian too well. I was just, and but like you said, I'd gone out and I'd watched him practice. I'd watched him play, and I'd played against him, I think maybe once before. And, I told you the umbrella story where, he's out there and it's blazing hot and there's no shade. And so he's already prepped with a little umbrella. So but on side changes, he's holding his legs together, his knees together. He's got this umbrella and he's in shade and he's toweling off and sipping his water and just kind of going, it's a beautiful day. And I'm going, I'm over here, man. It must be 92 degrees. I'm just wilting and looking at you going, this is not right. There's something wrong with this picture that I'm not. Anyway, so, but there was this one day, I'll never forget it. And we're sitting there at lunch and there must be a dozen of us just hanging out in between singles doubles. And here's Brian. He's got his 3 tennis rackets out and he is got this little, kind of like a little, it's like a little triangle thing where he sits his rackets on it. So he finds the one racket that he's been playing with that he absolutely loves the balance on it.
Right, yeah. Where's is it? Head light, head heavy?
Whatever it is.
What's going on?
I don't know,
yeah, no.
But it's the Cheney balance, right? And so he takes his other 2 rackets and he knows exactly where the mark is and he puts them on this little balance thing. And it could be like this little tiny thing that you can't even measure, and he takes out a little piece of lead tape and puts it over there, and then he goes, oh, that's not quite right, takes it off, puts another piece over here to where both rackets, and I'm just going, this is what it takes, right? Because you knew that if he broke a string with the one, his favorite racket, he wanted to make sure that his next racket, first of all, wasn't some different manufacturer, with, it had the... I mean, we say this, right? And guys come out with these different things, and yet he had this thing. It just blew my mind. I'm just going. I'm going. Well, I'm not doing any of that stuff at all. I mean, I'm not that prepared, and I've never been that prepared anyway. But I've gotten better, and I've gotten closer. And for Brian, it's just maybe it's not a lifestyle. He's not doing that every day of his life, but it's a tournament lifestyle for him. It's when he gets to tournaments, this is his lifestyle at tournaments, and he's found what works for him. And man,
and well, what you're describing is like you said, everybody's process is going to be a little different. However, watching these guys who are winning consistently. You learn that they have a process. Their process may not be your process. However, you can glean a little insight there. He consistently does it his way. He's found his process that works for him. And each individual has to find that attention to detail within their own process. I like to know when I put my rackets in my bag, I have them all lined up, labels going exactly the same way, blah, 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 and I know which frame is which. I know which frame was just strung, 2 frames just strung, 1 frame a little bit in, This is the oldest of the 4 frames I'm carrying. I mean, I know all that. And for me, that's important. I need to know when I reach into that bag what I'm grabbing and then I actually take the 2 rackets out and I'll take my second racket and throw it in the bigger pocket. So there's no confusion. If I break a string, that racket goes down and I grab that one. So I'm not even thinking about it, right? So it's that pre-prep. Should something happen, I don't want to skip a beat. I just go into my next racket and move on. So the attention to detail is huge. And I think, going back to the original question, you do have to be a little obsessed with looking at the landscape of your habits. And which habits? Are you taking a shower right now?
What, can you hear something going on back there?
Yes,
hey, babe, how are you? It's my sweet honey bunch. She's trying to be really quiet. She's really trying her best to be quiet, and she's smiling, and she's just going, you guys,
So as you look at the landscape of your current habits that don't seem to be getting you the result you want, what do you need to change? And how are you going to do it that actually is doable? The other side of this coin sometimes is like, oh, I'm going to take, Jim Smith's fitness program, and I'm going to do that. And they insert the whole thing into their life, right? And it's like, well, that's great. The fitness program, though, is really designed for a 35-year-old, and it's designed to do this amount of time every day, and you're going to be eating, these supplements and all that. And it's like, dude, you're 55, you're 60. There's a different plan that has to be implemented. And does the plan that you're picking actually fit your ability to produce it? Can you actually do it day in, day out for the next 3 months? You're going to need, if you really want to be in the hunt, you got to plan out like 3 months ahead of time, I think, minimum, that you start the habits of the tournament habits leading into it, to feel like you've done your best, I've put in the work. You feel confident that you can walk into the gates of the event and feel like, okay, I'm ready, that you feel like you're ready. And someone else is going to have to have put in the time to, someone else is going to have to have put in the time to take you out, right? And so, which brings up, I'll give you a brief story. When I was down in the desert there a couple years ago playing the 55 hard courts at Indian Wells, and we did some interviews there. In my first round, played a guy from New York, I think, strong 4-5 player, slid the ball around a lot and made it. It was a challenge. For me, it was my first singles match back into the singles realm. Previously I've got, 8 or 9 doubles titles under my belt, and so there was nothing about that. I mean, not that I haven't been in a tournament and played matches, right? So, but singles, I was jumping back into it. So there were nerves. There were, the head games going on in my head and the prep and all that. And was I fit enough and all that as I went into it? And I felt pretty good. And so, I won the match and beat him pretty, significantly. And at the end, he kind of had this look, and he obviously wasn't happy. And he said, he shook my hand. He says, well, sorry I didn't give you a match, but I hope your next guy can give you more of a match. And I heard what he said, and in my own mind, I thought, that's kind of weird. And the reason I thought it was weird is, you know what? I busted my ass to prep to be here, play this solid. And I know who I have to play next round, and I'm hoping to go out there and kick that guy's ass too. I don't want to be on the court. Sorry, this is distracting probably. I don't want to be on the court longer than I have to, but I'm also going to reap the benefit of having put in the work. And if that means the guy comes off the court and feels like they didn't give me a match, so be it. I mean, that's the goal. Is I want to move through these guys, and know that I have the gas in my tank if the guy's a challenge, that I'm good to go. I can be out there all afternoon and not worry about it. So anyway, it just brought that up for me, is that moment of
That's good. That's good. We see we've been watching your little puppy in the background there outside.
Is he?
You've been walking around out there. Yeah.
Yeah, the little puppy, 110-pound Alsatian German Shepherd, right?
Thinking, I hope that's not his little area to. Well, anyway.
No, he goes way down in the point, way in the back there. I'm not sure I've got the camera on that one. So, anyway.
JJ, very good stuff today, man. Thank you. And guys, I hope you enjoyed today's light chat. Jeff, we got a few things we would ask of everyone today.
Yes, indeed. We'd love you to like us because we're just a couple of guys chatting about tennis.
Somewhere on this video, there's got to be a like button. Just,
it's there or somewhere.
How tough can that be? Just boom, just a little light click. I wouldn't get the death grip on the mouse, or if you got the keypad, just a little tap. What else?
love to have them. If you thought this was fun and you think somebody else might enjoy, we'd love to have you share it.
Good.
Share
Good.
it with your friends
Yeah.
and see about that. And then, of course, subscribe.
Yes.
Because we're going to keep talking about these moments that Brent and I have had that have actually happened, our experiences on the court, off the court, within this game, and hopefully give you some actual boots on the ground insight as to this pursuit is not a smooth ride, but it's incredibly fun, challenging, and
it's a lifestyle. It's definitely a lifestyle, and it's not a bad one. It keeps you out of trouble, keeps you out of the bars, keeps you out of doing stupid things. Right.
That was funny. Keeps you out of the bars. I don't know. I'm trying to think back. 1980.
Well, that's true.
That's true. Anyway, but
true.
Now it kind of it's a different story now in the old ball pursuit.
Maybe that's a different podcast. Stories from the vault.
Yeah.
And then, guys, if you have any comments or questions, just let us know down below in the comments section. JJ, I think we've done it. We're going to sign off, guys. Get out there, make it a great day. And Jeff, we're going to do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Until next time.